It's becoming more and more difficult not to take sides while watching House of the Dragon. You start to like one character, then another. Then that character you said you didn't like does something you do like. The wait and see approach to picking sides just isn't going to work out. So how many of you are in the camp of people who during episode 1 thought Alicent was too young for King Viserys? Not anymore, huh? It was like the writers just sat around laughing, waiting for us to watch episode 2. While it was pretty easy to see coming, the conclusion of this episode and Viserys' decision to wed Alicent, the way we got there was enthralling. The pieces are being moved in position for a Targaryen civil war. Corlys Velaryon has taken a side, choosing to elicit aid from Daemon after being spurned by the king. Rhaenyra went to prove herself on Dragonstone, which she accomplished. Whether she gained respect or contempt from Otto Hightower is yet to be seen. We know her relationship with Alicent is now strained to say the least. My favorite line. Just like last week, the writing on this episode left me with many choices as to my favorite line. My choice this week was Rhaenys when speaking with Rhaenyra. Men would sooner put the realm to the torch than see a woman ascend the Iron Throne. And your father is no fool. Rhaenys isn't against Rhaenyra and wanted to impart her wisdom to her. She knows her cousin Viserys understands the politics of the realm. She's lived with the rejection of the entirety of the Seven Kingdoms, being passed over simply for her gender. She knows the king will have to take a wife. When he has more children, he'll likely eventually have a son, and lords across all 7 kingdoms will want to proclaim that son the heir and sit him upon the throne. Rhaenys even mentions it will be after her father is passed, leaving her without a ruling king to support her position. These powerful words to Rhaenyra do in part motivate her to want to prove herself, take action to show herself as worthy of the throne she one day wants to sit upon, which leads to her actions later. Highlights. When King Viserys gives his decision to remarry, everything quickly devolves into a mess. However, right before Corlys leaves, he glances at Otto Hightower, who gives him this slight nod. It's brutal. The knowing nod of self-satisfaction towards Corlys. They both knew at that moment Otto had outplayed his political rival. The fact they were both using their children as political pawns is another matter, but that's how the game is played in their world. One other highlight is another example within the show of the intelligence of dragons in this world. When Otto Hightower is confronting Daemon on the bridge on Dragonstone, they pull swords on each other. At that exact moment, his dragon Caraxes, also known as the Bloodworm, walked up onto a ridge overlooking the bridge. It's just a subtle way of showing the audience how smart dragons are, as coming to watch over his master and ready to intervene if necessary. Characters. Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen probably feels like she's taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Learning in this episode Rhaenyra is only 15 makes her actions make more sense. She shows an immaturity at times that if she had been older, her decisions and or reactions may have been different. When she chose Sir Criston Cole to be the next member of the Kingsguard, it was clear she was smitten with him. Her decision was not just based on who would be the best choice for defending her father's life. At the beginning of her conversation with Rhaenys, she's very disrespectful towards her, even mocking her as the queen who never was, directly to her face. Rhaenyra came off exactly as a girl not wanting to hear the wisdom of an older woman. It did seem as though Rhaenys got through to her a bit at the end of their talk. Rhaenyra's decision to go to Dragonstone was proven right because it's unlikely the same outcome would have been achieved by Otto. She knew her uncle wouldn't kill her, allowing her to make a bold stand in front of him. She wasn't risking her life at that moment. Much like the game Daemon is playing, the risk she took was minimal. As Mysaria pointed out to Daemon later, he can afford to play this game because of his last name. Rhaenyra can as well, and she did. Those two are more alike than different. Taking a chance to prove herself wasn't without consequence. She took a bit of a scolding from her father, as she deserved. He is right. Their family line is threatened currently. The reason kings had to have multiple children was to propagate the family line. It's why he needs to remarry. I'm not sure he made as clear as he needed to that he needs to have more children. And at some point she's going to need to marry and start having children as well. The duty to the realm to have children will fall upon her as well if she wants to rule the 7 kingdoms. Now to the look she gave her now former best friend. Betrayal, hurt, disgust, all of the above? Rhaenyra wasn't just shocked by the news, she was floored. Seconds before believing this, she was supporting her father and remarrying for the sake of his duty to the realm and the security of their family. Now stunned by the fact that her best friend had been secretly holding court with her father and will now be queen before her and her new stepmother. That's a lot to take in. I do feel some sympathy for Alicent. She was pushed by her father Otto to put herself in a position to eventually become his next wife. Yes, Alicent kept this from Rhaenyra, a betrayal. But under the circumstances, what was she supposed to do? And everyone isn't Jon Snow. I'm sure a little part of Alicent would like to be queen. Rhaenyra will have to accept the situation whether she likes it or not. This is setting her character up for a level of complexity that will be very interesting to watch develop. Well, he took a swing and he missed. Lord Corlys Velaryon attempted a massive power grab and failed. An argument could be made that their houses are already joined, are they not? I guess being married to a Targaryen but not being tied directly to the line of succession doesn't count for much these days in Westeros. Corlys tried to marry off his 12-year-old daughter to the king, which Viserys could have used as an excuse not to marry Laena. In those times, this might not have been accepted as much of an excuse, but he could have paired that with his age and need to have children sooner rather than later. Viserys needed to avoid hurting Corlys' pride in the manner that he did, now turning to Daemon in an attempt to further his house. True, he needs the problems affecting shipping lanes dealt with, and the king isn't acting with the haste or in the manner in which Corlys would like. But what he's doing with Daemon might eventually cost him his head. Whose side to take? Currently, I'm a bit in all camps. Viserys comes off as a bit incompetent, but it seems to me like he's just trying to keep the train on the tracks. He's just not that good at it. Rhaenyra is going to have to grow up fast if she wants to play the political game so many others around her are playing. It's going to be a bit jarring when the time jump happens and the character of Rhaenyra will be played by a different actress. We're getting used to Millie Alcock and we're invested in her now. Daemon is going to need a better plan than the little games he's playing. Corlys will probably have an impact on that though. But how will Rhaenys feel about rebelling against the throne? Did anyone else finish the episode and just want to fast forward their lives click style to get to next Sunday night? Let me know what you thought of episode 2 in the comments below.